All right. Good evening. Thank you so much for being here today. And we're going to start off with me. That's me 10 years ago, when I was a full-time world traveler working as a flight attendant with British Airways. And I tell you what, every time somebody came to me and said, "Oh, I wish I had your job, I just love to travel," I wanted to punch them in the face. Because being a flight attendant is not as glamorous as it seems. You are always traveling and never arriving. It's all deviation, holding pattern, and never landing. You're looking for a routine that doesn't exist. It was exhausting to be in full-time travel. I would miss holidays, birthdays, my own birthday. I watched my nieces and nephews grow up via Facebook photos, and friends forgot who I was, because after all, who's free to hang out with me on the one random Tuesday that I happen to be home in London? You're isolated in far corners of the world, lonely in every hotel room every third night, and you are friends with colleagues who are single-serving friends you'll never see again. Living this lifestyle seemed glamorous on Facebook photos and everything, but the reality was very different. During all of this time, I started to ask myself, well, isn't the point of travel to connect with the world? What's the point of having breakfast in Barcelona, lunch in London, and dinner in Dublin if you have nobody to actually share it with? And I don't mean social media sharing. We all do that from every corner of the globe all the time. In fact, psychologist Sherry Turkle mentions that there's a very distinct difference between connection that we all have on social media and online and conversation in real life, connecting with people face to face. In this time, I'm wandering the world, watching life pass me by at 10,000 meters. Shortly before I left my job, I was sitting in the jump seat of the aircraft, flying over some mountains at sunset. And I remember looking out of the aircraft window at the ground below, starting to light up as sunset moved across the planet. And I could see villages starting to light up, cars with their headlights moving up the mountainside. And I thought to myself with envy, how much I wished I could be down there on the ground, connecting with people, doing the sorts of things that I missed, constantly traveling. I was everywhere in the world, but nowhere at the same time. In fact, if home is where you are known, where people know you, then full-time travelers and flight attendants like myself are often homeless. So I resolved to find a way to keep my head in the clouds, because I loved traveling, but also keep my feet on the ground. All those same people who wished they had my job didn't actually want my job of going through airport security and eating tiny tray meals. No, what they really wanted were the side effects of traveling, those benefits, those things like going out of your comfort zone, trying new experiences, gaining a deeper understanding of the world, or creating new relationships and interacting with new ideas. And in fact, if these are the benefits of travel, do you have to really go abroad to do this? Or can you do the same thing and experience it here on your own doorstep? That's when I decided to become Glocal, globally aware, but locally connected. It's a phrase that is not very commonly found, but you can Google it. It does exist. And to be globally aware and locally connected is 3 easy steps. The first thing is to be curious. Take a look at the world around you. By changing your routine, pushing you out of your comfort zone, and trying new things, you'll begin to discover all those benefits of travel, whether you're halfway around the world or on your own doorstep. Once you've done that, be sure to pay attention. Paying attention helps you see new perspectives, helps you understand the world in a new light. Celebrate some of the differences that you might see between the Bangladeshi cleaners that you see, or the Italian NGO workers that you connect with, or the American professors that might be in town. They're all on your doorstep here, and so ask those questions and begin to pay attention to what those answers might be. What might it be like to be these people? Why are they where they are? Once you've built those connections by paying attention, be sure to give back. Giving back can help you deepen those relationships and make those connections that really enrich our travel experience. So I'll give you a personal example. Back in 2020, at the beginning of the pandemic, I found myself quarantined and isolated on a small Greek island in the Aegean Sea. One day, while I'm there, all those friends that said they wish they had my lifestyle wish they were quarantined with me, but it was very lonely and isolating. And while I was there, sitting in a cafe, I remember looking across and seeing a gentleman who I definitely recognized as not being Greek. So I was curious, who is this man? Started to pay attention to the details. He was conversing with a friend, and I heard him speaking Arabic. And I wondered, what common ground might we have? So I called across the cafe terrace, and I said, Anta Iraqi? Are you Iraqi? And he looked at me with a crazed look in his eye. Why is this crazy American in a Greek cafe asking if I'm Iraqi? But he said yes, he was. So I moved across and began asking questions and sharing photos of my life here in Iraq. That conversation gave way to information that my several months of quarantine on that Greek island were nothing compared to his 5 years of isolation as a refugee. Through that conversation, it led to volunteering in the refugee camps for 2 months to teach English and help these people move on in their asylum-seeking process to Europe. That kind of experience could never have happened as a full-time traveler in my flight attendant life. By slowing down and taking a look, being curious about the people next to me, asking questions, it led way to deeper relationships where I could then give back to that community. All of that can be done on your own doorstep. The benefit of travel doesn't have to be 10,000 miles away. It can be 10 steps away from your front door if you know where to look. Being connected is what makes us good travelers. Connecting with people makes travel an experience that is not just geographical, but an experience of the heart. Be globally aware, stay locally connected, be Glocal. Thank you.